Greetings, Neuse Little Pod listeners. This is your host, Matt Gore, reminding you to please like, follow, subscribe, and share the podcast on your available podcast apps such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and any other podcast app you can think of. Share our episodes on Facebook and let us know what you think with a comment or review. Now, please enjoy the show. Good evening and welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. This is an audio program talking about the backstage antics and stories of running a small town community theater on the banks of the Neuse River located in Smithfield, North Carolina. We lovingly refer to the old girl as the Hut. We hope you enjoy. Good evening and welcome to the Neuse Little Podcast. We have a brand new episode for you. This is an episode where we discuss the kids' summer camp that we hold every year during the summer at NLT, and this year of course is no exception. We have an excellent show planned for you guys. These kids are working really hard, and we've also got the director and music director here to talk about that, the whole process for us. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to start introducing you guys with Miss Patsy.
That's me. I get to direct summer camp, and I'm really happy about it. It's going so well. Mm-hmm. We did Lion King Kids last year. This year, we're doing the kids' version of Frozen. It sounds weird when you say the title because it's Frozen Kids, which just doesn't sound right. So I'm saying it's the kids' version of Frozen. They've cut it down. They've condensed it just enough so that it fits with the timeline that we have for our camp. It's one of the Disney ones. And it's music and lyrics by Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, when the book is by Jennifer Lee. And it's got all the songs that the kids know from the movie.
Like what song?
Like Let It Be. Let It Be.
Let It Go.
Let It Go. Yeah, that's the Beatle version. It's got Let It Go. And it's got Do You Want to Build a Snowman? And one of my favorites is In Summer, that Olaf the Snowman sings. And then the one that you sing with the prince. That's the name of that one, Julia.
Oh, Love is an Open Door.
There you go. That one's one of my favorite too. It's just such a happy one. And we've got a great bunch of kids. I'll let Karen talk about the singing because we have really good singers, and it's very helpful.
We have 3 cast members of the show here with us too. We'll introduce them in just a minute. But let's talk to Karen Mollins, our music director, here for a minute. So what's the music like on this show?
It's really a lot of fun. And I will be honest, you never know what you're going to get with summer camp because it's open enrollment. You know, you audition from the children that enroll. And this year we have got a phenomenal group of singers. I mean, it has sounded good from the get-go. So, you know, obviously there's tuning to do and some differences between what they know from a soundtrack versus what's in the music that we have. But they are a really, really talented group of singers.
Well, that is good to hear. It's good to have see we got some local talent here at NLT. It's always good to have the next generation of talent, you know, kind of being fostered here at the Hut, as it were. All right, let's introduce the kids. You guys are the youngest guests we've ever had on the podcast, so congratulations. I don't even know how old you are really, but you guys are definitely the youngest. So we'll start with you. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie.
All right. And who do you play in Frozen?
I play Middle Anna.
Middle Anna? Okay, yeah, because you see them from 3 different age groups.
They age, yes.
Gotcha. All right, and you are?
Oh, I'm Julia.
Mm-hmm.
I play Anna.
And where are you from?
Smithfield.
You're from Smithfield? And where do you hail from, Mackenzie?
I'm from New Jersey.
Uh-huh. And you live... Wow, that's
a long ride. It's quite a commute.
We admire your dedication. That's quite a commute. But no, where do you live in North Carolina now?
Oh, I live in Clayton.
Gotcha. And you, miss, who do you play? I'm sorry, what's your name first?
Hi, I'm Gianna, and I play Middle Elsa.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in Garner.
Okay. So, all around the Johnston County area, or just outside it. That's good. That's good. So, let's get back to you, Patsy. Tell us about bringing this story to life, because I saw your stage out there, and you guys are using. I directed the last play, and that was kind of my design for the stage, the outline. And you guys are giving me a run for my money. This stage looks so good. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, I want to give you credit for that stage. As soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, that's so good. We can use this. I especially like the stairs. And
True credit belongs to me to Toole because it's almost the same outline we used for Explorers Club a year before. So we reused it again because I knew we had it.
So I gave you credit in the program. I give the Liberty Valance cast credit for
that's
us being able to recycle your set. So I had some help. Greg Hill has helped a lot in order to turn it into summer, and so did Dan Ruffino. They came in and helped me the week before summer camp, and Anita Liverman came and painted it blue, and then we did all the decoration because the show starts in summer, and then we have all the Elsa stuff with the snow and the ice, and then it goes back to summer. So that's how we set the stage up with flowers and vines and things like that.
It looks very nice.
Thank you so much.
So, tell from your guys' perspective, what do you like best about performing on stage? We can start with you, Mackenzie.
I like acting with different people on stage and getting to know them a lot.
Okay. And do you want to be in more plays as you get older?
Yes.
Is that something that you want to? That's great. And so what's it like working with Miss Patsy as a director? You don't. No. She can't hear a thing. Don't worry.
Can't hear you with the headphones on.
Yeah. I like working with Miss Patsy.
Mm-hmm.
She's really fun to work with.
That's a good review, Patsy.
That is a good review. I
How about you?
hope I really earned it.
What about you guys? What do you like about performing on stage?
I also like the close-knit community I get when I'm on stage, and the friends that I make, and just playing somebody else, I guess.
Yeah, you really get, like, when you get your character, you really get to, like, experience, like, who they are and, like, stuff like that. Also, Miss Patsy's great. I think she's a great director. She's very, like, she knows kind of how the stage works, and she helps us, like, learn everything that we need to learn.
I agree with you. She does know how to stage works. How old are you guys, by the way? How old are you, Gianna?
I am 14.
And you?
I'm 18.
You're 18?
Yes.
Okay. When Patsy said we're going to have some of the kids with us, I'm like 8, 9, 10, what are we talking here? And then when I saw you guys, I'm like, oh, you guys are like grown up and stuff. How old are you, Mackenzie?
I'm 13.
Yes. Last time I saw Mackenzie, she looked totally different because it's been a couple of years. She looks like a totally different person. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, they get older.
Time is moving. No, I can feel myself getting older in front of the mirror.
That's why I don't have children, because I don't have to look at them every day and realize how old I'm
But
getting.
you see, I'm the same way. But then we see children we haven't seen for years, and we're like, oh my God.
Yeah. I wanted to say about Julia, she is now 18, so this is her last summer camp. And every time I think about it, I get all teary and emotional because I've just worked with her so many summer camps, and I'm going to miss her.
Well, how many times have you done it before?
I've been here since 4th grade.
Wow. So you have like an intimate knowledge of our summer camps. So out of all those times you've done it, we're all biased on the show we're currently doing, so we'll leave out Frozen.
Okay.
Other than Frozen, what is your favorite show you've done here in the past summer camp?
Probably Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. What did you do in that?
I played Alice.
If you hear any issues with sound tonight, our little receiver is being a little temperamental. We've got a lot of electrical stuff up here, and I turned off a fan, and it hasn't been the same since.
Not like that.
That's not even a joke. That's literally what happened. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, we as far as summer camp goes, we did a couple in the early days that were not Disney related. We did some early stuff. We did like Winnie the Pooh, although I guess technically that might be is Disney.
That's
But it
public
wasn't-
domain now.
But it wasn't, no. Winnie the Pooh from the books is public domain.
Oh.
Winnie the Pooh from Disney is not. Completely different characters. They have different looks.
So like Shaggy old school Winnie the Pooh
Yes.
is that, and then red shirt Winnie the Pooh is Disney.
Red shirt Winnie the Pooh is Disney. But I don't know if it was before Disney made all of the Disney Kids and Junior versions of their shows. This was just specifically a Winnie the Pooh show, and we did one, and Ruth did a couple of like
talent show type things and things like that. But once we kind of hit the Disney thing, they work so well, and everything's so already set for you.
Tailor-made.
Yeah. So you don't actually have it makes it easy, I guess, to plug everything. And so we just sort of have stuck with the Disney because of that reason.
My son, my 20-year-old, participated in this program in maybe 2011, 12, maybe 13, somewhere in there. He would have been 4th grade. I'd have to do way too much math. But it was a North Carolina folklore thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Jack
that?
Jills.
So that was before
Yeah.
they hit the Disney.
Okay. What about you, Gianna? How many summer camps have you done, or is this your first one?
This is my first summer camp here.
Okay, that's great. We got all different perspectives. You've done like how many? 3 or 4?
3.
Yeah. So we have somebody who's done 7, 8. We have somebody who's the first one, and we have somebody who's kind of done 3 or 4. That's great. That's a great sampling. So you, Mackenzie, what was the last show you did besides Frozen?
Lion King.
Right. So, what makes you keep coming back? I know your dad's Greg Hill, and he's involved in the theater. He helps us out a lot here. We love Greg. But what's the driving force that keeps you coming back?
I like being with all the other kids that do it because it's more fun with people around your age.
Right. And do you still want to do it after you're too old for the summer camp?
Yeah.
What is your plans for after graduate? Are you graduating? You've graduated. So what are your plans for?
I'm going to college. I'm going to UNC Asheville.
Okay. All right. What are you studying there?
I'm double majoring in women and gender sexuality studies and theater.
All right. That sounds cool. You're gonna have to come back and visit us when you become all artsy up there in Asheville. And so, it being your first experience, what's it like for you? I mean, did you hit it with a stride, or did it take a couple of rehearsals to find your footing? Tell us about your experience.
I've done like other shows before in my school, so I kind of know the theater a bit, but this has definitely been interesting because I've never done something like this before. So it's just been an overall experience, and it's just been really interesting.
Are you a musical theater fan? Do you like it in real life? You listen to soundtracks and stuff like that?
I do.
You as well?
Yes.
What about you, Mackenzie?
Yes.
Okay, what's your favorite? Like if you had a magic wand and you could do any show for our summer camp, what would you do?
I would probably do Wizard of Oz because...
Never heard of it. I'm just kidding.
But I did that for my first ever show that I ever did, and I really enjoyed that.
Interesting. I think Wizard of Oz is a very big show that's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't know about a kid's camp, but we'll put a pin in that for later. What about you? Are you a musical theater fan? So what are some of your favorite musicals?
I really like West Side Story, but that wouldn't happen because there's not a lot of diversity.
I mean,
yeah.
You speak the truth.
Yeah.
You speak the truth. You're right. We would have to farm out a couple of roles on that. But yeah, and do you like the movie? Did you see the most recent movie version? Mm-hmm. And you like the old version as well?
I like the older one better. But
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just my dad really liked it, and I watched it when I was little, and so it's just like a classic, I guess.
But the Spielberg version, the most recent version, isn't terrible.
No, I like it. It's
Right.
just I like the older one better.
The girl who won Best Supporting Actress, who played not Maria, the other one, help me out here.
I don't know.
Anita.
Anita?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Raleigh. Mm-hmm. She's from Raleigh, and that was interesting. And what about you, Mackenzie?
I would say The Wizard of Oz 2.
Oh, come on. Give me another one.
What's your second choice?
Is that a sequel?
Are you talking about... Do you ladies know about Return to Oz? Have you ever heard of Return to Oz?
I have. Yeah.
It's this weird 80s movie that's
I
very
don't.
scary. Her face, she knows about Return to Oz.
We've all tried it and we won't go back.
I know. They trick people where you're like, okay, we've watched The Wizard of Oz, and this is a great classic movie, one of the greatest films ever made, and then Return to Oz, which is just such a steep downfall.
That pumpkin.
I know. They're trying to scare... they're deliberately trying to scare the children versus like, oh, but we've got you now, but we're going to tell you the stick version of the pumpkin head and stuff. Oh, it's a frightening film. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about, Return to Oz?
I do, because I remember seeing it on Disney Plus. I was scrolling through it, and I was like, what is this? Why is there a pumpkin in it now? I was so scared.
See, you had to get traumatized like I did when I was your age. Everybody has to go through that moment of passage.
Just go with your gut.
Which is
just go with your gut.
Sheer
Run
disappointment
away.
that a movie could be this bad. Okay, so moving on. So you were talking about how Karen, that we've got on this particular cast, a great group of singers, and let's talk about the actual play. Is it challenging? Like, what's the gauge here? Help me out. Like, is this on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 being not so difficult, and 5 being ultra Les Miserables difficult.
Into the Woods.
Into the Woods difficult.
Yeah, that one is one I consider difficult.
Oh, this is very doable. I
Okay.
mean, you really, when you're looking at a kid's production, the age range that could participate in this, I would think, would be anywhere from 5 all the way up to 18, and we've got 9 to 8, 9ish, 8, 9.
We have some 8-year-olds.
We do have some 8-year-olds, so 8 to 18. So it's very easy to do in 2 weeks.
All right, so you've got the set halfway done already. Of course, you got to decorate it, but the skeleton is there, and you've got your cast with a great group of actors and singers. What's been the most challenging part for you, Patsy, as a director?
Asking for quiet backstage, to be honest with you.
Imagine that.
Yeah, none of these kids have been hard to work with. It's just been great. But, trying to get them to speak loudly enough so that we can hear them, because I'm standing right at the front of the stage, and they sing great. And then when the lines come, it's like, somebody turned all the volume off. So there's been that, and then they go backstage, and that's all I can hear. So that's a constant issue right now that we're working with, is getting them loud enough on stage. And that is the only issue, because they're just fabulous to work with.
Kids. I will say Patsy has done a lot of work ahead of the rehearsals. So when we say it's doable in 2 weeks, that's really not including a lot of the costuming, the sets, the props, getting that all made. That's an additional couple of months worth of work.
Right. We started June the 6th, that whole week. Dan and Greg and I were here.
So doable from a production standpoint. It's doable in terms of the children and actors and actresses all learning their lines and learning the music and getting it blocked and choreographed. But that all, Patsy comes in with the blocking done, and she spends time beforehand doing that.
Patsy is known to be quite the preparer, so she is always ready to go. That's the one thing we can always rely on for Patsy. As a director should. Give you guys. It really helps if the director knows the script. So if you guys ever want to direct, that's a key teaching moment for you. Okay, so for you, what's been your biggest challenge coming in here? What is does the people distract you backstage? Not in a bad way, I'm saying like your friends or whatever. Are you distracted backstage? Are you learning your lines? What's been a challenge a mountain that you've had to overcome, as it were?
I actually don't think I've really had any big
Smooth
challenges.
sailing all the way.
It really has been. It's been really simple. It's been really easy. I've had such great support from both directors.
What part do you play?
Middle Elsa.
Middle Elsa, okay. So after your Middle Elsa, do you have any other responsibilities, or are you just Middle Elsa?
I do. I'm in the coronation, Love is an Open Door dance, and I'm also in Olaf's scene for In Summer. So dance moves are a big part.
And remind me which part you play again?
Oh, I play Anna.
Anna. Okay. So that's like a big part, right? So for you, I saw the movie once. Okay. It was fine. It was good. I got it. Okay. So getting back on track. What is a challenge that you've had to overcome in being Anna?
Well, there's not a lot of choreography playing her, which is great because I cannot dance. So nothing really. I do fall a lot. playing her like
Mhm.
I'm supposed to for the blocking, and I can't. Like, I just don't know how to do it. So probably falling.
What, like fall on cue?
Yes.
Yeah, get you some knee pads or something, or something like that. It's not easy for me either. Probably for much different reasons, but I can't fall on cue either. I can do it just the one time, then we're done.
No, Elsa accidentally strikes ice into her head early on, and then later into her heart. So she has to go down a couple times.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Mackenzie, remind me which part you play.
Middle Anna.
Okay, so what's the challenge that you've had to overcome in the summer camp, if at all?
Projecting.
Yeah.
Projecting's kind of hard to do.
But
Sorry.
she is so much, you're so much improved from last year.
Mhm.
You really, and I can see that you've worked on it. It's good.
Isn't that gratifying to see
It
like
is gratifying.
marked improvement every
Yes.
time you see him? Something
Yes.
that gets a little bit better. All right, now let's get to the real talk about Frozen. Aren't you? You play Anna, right? So you have a good understanding of the character. Isn't it lame she doesn't have powers eventually? I mean, come on, come on. They're kind of like setting it up for her to have like maybe flame powers or autumn powers or something like that, and she never gets them. What's up with that? Your thoughts?
I don't think she should have them.
You don't think they're like kind of setting it up like each of them can like unlock a power if they get like mad enough or something like that, and then at the very end of Frozen 2, Anna saves her with her flame powers or something.
The power of love.
Yay! I'm talking about flame shooting from Anna's shooting from her fingertips like she can do the ice power. So we're all like, and then by the time Frozen 5 rolls around, we're all like kind of like X-Men. And everybody's got their own power and stuff. So your thoughts, Gianna?
I don't think she should have powers because I feel like the one that's kind of like, oh, I have powers is also like she's kind of like the main one that's really.
And she doesn't want them. She can't control them, and she truly doesn't want them.
I was going to be honest. I was really hoping you'd back me up there. Okay, enough being what?
She plays Elsa. She doesn't want anybody else to have powers.
Oh, so Elsa wants to keep all the power for herself. Now
That's what
I
I'm
get what's
saying.
going on. Now I get what's going on here. So yeah, but in all seriousness, from what I do remember of the movie Frozen, is that at the time it came out, it was kind of revolutionary that it didn't focus so much on who Anna kissed or fell in love with. It much more focused on the sister aspect. The relationship between Anna and Elsa. Go
The
ahead.
prince didn't come in and save the day.
Right.
That's the reason why
The
it's
ladies
different.
saved themselves, and
Yeah.
that's a very strong message that I think Frozen kind of. I'm sure it wasn't the first, one, but it definitely imparted that to like the wider audience.
Yep.
So with keeping that theme in mind, you kind of like when I said that, you were kind of like, what do you think about that? You're going into women's studies, so obviously you have opinions on this.
I like that it shows that, like, women don't need a man,
Right.
basically, to, like, save themselves or,
Mhm.
like, do something good for themselves. I think that's a good, like, thing.
I like it shows that there are other kinds of love.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be romantic love
Mhm.
all the time.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, the man that was supposed to come in and save you turned out to be
Yeah.
a terror.
Love at first sight is not real.
Yeah. So.
Right. What is the man's name?
Prince Hans.
Oh yes, but isn't there like a guy that has like a reindeer or something?
Kristoff.
Okay, that's the one I remember.
Hans is the one she falls in love with at the ball
Uh-huh.
immediately. Like, he basically says, hey, we've got a connection, let's get married. She says, okay. And then basically Elsa calls her out and says, you can't love somebody you just met, genius. And basically throws all of the rest of the Disney princesses.
Yeah, I was about to say that
under the bus.
that contradicts
That's right.
every Disney movie made up until that point. That immediately you get to fall in love with the first man you see.
Well, and then it turns out that she's right.
Right.
Because then it turns out that Hans does not have good intentions. He had no intention of saving her. In fact, he had intentions of putting her on the chopping block.
Spoiler.
Oh, so he was trying to take over her kingdom or whatever.
Right.
So this
Yep.
is some so we're venturing into like Game of Thrones type of
Yeah,
stuff.
we could get deep here.
So there's like court intrigue and stuff. Okay.
In 45 minutes, court entry.
We're going to wrap it up here with a last question. I think we've got a good gauge of what to expect. Well, let's go ahead and give a shout out to when the show actually is this weekend.
Yeah, it starts on Friday at 7 o'clock, which is June 23rd. And tickets are being sold to the families of the kids that are in the show right now. And then whatever tickets are left are going to be sold at the door, walk-ins or additional family that didn't get tickets ahead of time. There's not a box office. You can't call in and reserve tickets. It's just come as you are. And if we've got tickets, we're happy to have you here. And then at 3 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, which is the 24th and the 25th, we're having the matinee at 3 o'clock.
All right. We look forward to that. You guys have been working really hard. It sounds like it. How many total in the cast about Pets?
28.
28. All right. So we look forward to you guys bringing some magic to the huts, and it sounds like you intend to do just that, and we thank you for it. I also thank you for your time. We had some technical glitches getting this episode ready. We appreciate you guys hanging in there, and I'm sure, and thank your parents for me. If you guys thank your parents for me too. We appreciate that.
Any last words?
Yes. Any last words before we sign off here?
Just thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. Until next year when we... so what's next? It's got to be like...
Whatever suits my set that I'm doing for Angel Street.
Well, I'm getting a Aristocats vibe from
Yeah,
this set.
I had that vibe as well.
Yeah.
That was the very first Disney we did.
The first one that I did, yeah.
Oh, really? The Aristocats? Oh, that's... It's so cool that you... No, it really is kind of cool that you've done like 8 past seasons, so you get
That
like
is neat.
full... But you've never done like a real a rain season show?
Not here, no.
Oh. You never called out for... I know that we do limited... We haven't done that many musicals since COVID.
But Willy Wonka coming up. Auditions.
She's going to be at UNCA learning about Frances O'Connor and Susan B. Anthony, as you should.
For the other two, we're doing Willy Wonka.
So yeah, but for you ladies, Willy Wonka is up next in September. Stick around. After our guests leave, we still have more Neuse Little Pod. We are going to be announcing our canon acting nominations. So this isn't the end of the episode just yet. There's still a little bit more. But for these guests right now, we're going to say goodbye and thank you.
Thank you. Let it go.
Thank you.
Let it go. And we are back. As promised, we have more Neuse Little podcast content for you. We have here hot off the presses our Canon Award nominations for the 2022-2023 season. Our gala is on Sunday, July 9th. If you've been in a show this season, then you should be getting something in the mail about that pretty soon.
I am hoping it will be in your mailbox before this podcast hits the air.
Yes, that's what we are hoping. This podcast will go out Thursday, Friday, and we are hoping by that point you will have an invitation in your mailbox. It's a fun little event that shouldn't be taken too seriously. It's all fun, folks, and I will be hosting. And these Canon nominations are just the nominations. We won't know the winners until the actual show. So I have no information on who actually won this. So
There's only one person who knows, and she's taken it to...
she's sworn secret.
She's sworn to secrecy.
She's sworn a blood oath to secrecy.
And she's very, very good at keeping a secret when she's the one who knows the secret. She hates secrets if somebody else has a secret, but if she's got the secret, she keeps it close to the vest.
Okay. Her health's good, right?
Yes.
All right. So as I go down, I am going to do this starting with a cameo. So we have technical awards for each of our shows, but listing all those would be redundant. Just suffice to say that we will have an award for Best Theatrical Special Effects, Best Hair and Makeup, Best Costume Design, Best Sound, Best Lighting, Best Scenic Design, and Best Direction. So those are the listing all those per show would be kind of redundant. So, but they will
Because all 5 shows are up for them,
Yeah,
so we don't know who's winning yet.
And one note I want to clarify one little detail. Then I have Mita here so she can back me up on this. When you say Canon Awards refer only to the acting awards.
Yes, 'cause
not the certificates.
No, the technical awards are just the technical
Right.
awards, and they get a certificate when they win, and everybody who's contributed to that part of the show gets a certificate. But the actual Canon Award is your acting awards.
That's correct. That is the statue, the little statue you get, not the certificate. If that were true, people could like say, "Hey, I'm a 17-time Cannon Award," because they've gotten the certificates or all those years and stuff. The Cannon Awards are just the acting awards. Just wanted to clarify that. There was some confusion when I spoke with someone about it. All right. So, starting in the category of cameo, these are the nominees. Starting with A Murder is Announced. Best cameo is nominee Bowen Thompson as Rudy Shirts in A Murder is Announced. We have, going to the next show, Mariana Moran as Gretchen, and that is for Boing Boing. And then going to the next show, Janisha Davis as Angela from Monte Carlo. And 4 out of 5, Best Cameo nominee, Angela Arendt as Karen Keegan for Things My Mother Taught Me. And the last one is Randall Lawrence Hurt as Liberty Valance in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Those are your cameo nominees. Congratulations. All right, moving on to the next category. Supporting actor. Okay, we have Damian Lightsey as Patrick Simmons in A Murder is Announced. We have myself, Matt Gore, as Robert in Boing Boing. There's only two guys, in Boing Boing, so me and Randall kind of both knew. So moving on, Bowen Thompson, double nominee, Bowen Thompson as Duncan McRae / Eddie Perkins in Monte Carlo. And moving on to 4 out of 5, William Snow as Wyatt Lawson in Things My Mother Taught Me. And the last nominee in the supporting actor category is Daniel E.D. Brown as Jim Mostyn in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. All right, moving on to supporting actress. Our first supporting actress nominee is Kathy Nixon as Miss Marple in A Murder is Announced. Kathy Nixon as Berta in Boing Boing. Double nominee Kathy Nixon in the same category. When we have Patsy Castellano as Lottie Rose in Monte Carlo. And moving on, Julia Kapke as Lydia Lawson in Things My Mother Taught Me. And the final nominee in the supporting actress category is Joyce Kilpatrick Jordan as Mrs. Foster in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. All right, gearing up to the end with lead actor. This category has only 4 because Monte Carlo didn't have a lead actor in it at all. So if they don't have one, just leave it blank. So that means you guys have moved up from a 1 in 5 shot to a 1 in 4 shot. Congratulations. Our first nominee in the leading actor category is Daniel E.D. Brown as Inspector Craddock in A Murder is Announced. Double nominee Daniel. And another double nominee, Randall Lawrence Hurt as Bernard in Boing Boing. And then we skip Monte Carlo since there was no lead actor for that show. And we go to Mars McAllister as Gabe Lawson in Things My Mother Taught Me. And the fourth and final nominee in the leading actor category is Owen Lewis as Ransom Foster in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Our final category is leading actress. And we have 5 nominees. And we have Mariana Moran, double nominee, as Letitia Blacklock in A Murder is Announced. Teresa Rose as Gabriella in Boing Boing. Jules McAllister as Daisy Rose in Monte Carlo. Titania Rafina as Olivia Keegan in Things My Mother Taught Me. And finally, Madeline Snow as Hallie Jackson in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. And there it is, folks. Quick to the point.
Yep.
That is our nominees. So congratulations to all our nominees. And we will find out who wins July 9th.
And just a heads up, because everybody asks every year and nobody knows it. The way we do our Canon Awards is we pick a committee before the season starts, usually from season members who are longtime members who we know will come to every production, who are loyal and always show up. And they are asked if they want to be part of the Canon Committee. It's not the same people every year. It's a different group every year.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
I thought it was the same group.
Nope, different every year. The only person who knows it is our coordinator. She's the only one who knows who's on the committee. They don't even know who each other are. They're not supposed to talk about, they're not supposed to tell people they're on the committee. It's super secret. Once you're off, I think maybe you can tell, but I don't know that for sure. But it's supposed to be take it to your grave kind of a secret that you were on the committee.
And they're not somebody who's been in a show.
And there's somebody who's not going to be in a show,
Right.
And they even try to make it so they're not somebody who has family that will be in a show, because then you're biased. And then so they vote, they give a score after they see the show, and then at the end of the year everything's averaged together, and the one with the person with the highest average is the one who wins. And so instead of waiting till the end of the season and having people vote, here's the list of nominees, vote who your favorite was. Mm-hmm. What they do is they get a list of the directors nominate the 5 categories from their show. If they have somebody that fits in each category, they nominate somebody for each category. And that goes to the coordinator, and she puts in a ballot and mails it out to the members of the committee. And they come to see the show, and then they go home and they rate their performance that they saw that night. So the scores that they're given are only on their performance. It is not in comparison to any other performances. To me, it seems like it's more pure. Mm-hmm. So I I give them a 98 for this production because they sold it. Mm-hmm. The next person who's in the lead actor category, I go, oh, well, out of, and they do it from like a 75 to 100 score. So there's a wide range, but it's not 1 to 100 or 1 to 10 or something like that. I think they do it like 75 to 100.
10's too small.
Right.
100's too much.
Exactly. So they give it a score, and so you can go, well, I would give them a B. So I'm going to give them a 85, this person's performance. And so but they do give it a numerical score. And at the end of the season, when they mail them back to the coordinator, they mail them back after every production. She opens them up and then she averages them together. And then the one with the highest average is the winner of the award. And it's pretty solid every year. Mm-hmm. I don't have a whole lot of complaints every year.
All this is to say, we don't want to hear any bitching.
I just want to lay it out because every year people are like, how do you do it? Why is it done like that? I got robbed. I'm like, no, it's not the board. It's not the directors. It's not a popularity contest because the people coming to see the show really don't have any connection in general. I mean, they may have seen you on stage before or not.
Right.
But they don't score it because they got a list of names and said, ooh, I like Sammy instead of Reggie.
Yeah.
They actually score you on your performance. And
that is as close to being, as humanly close as you can get to being unbiased in this world we live in. In our neck of the woods. And so other groups have adopted a similar type of method that we use because they consider it more fair than other methods. Because if you do like a membership vote, it does become like a popularity contest.
And we've done that one year when we've always done it with the committee, I think the Canon Awards, but we decided that the Canon committee should vote for best show. Mm-hmm. But that didn't get to the person who was coordinating it one year when we decided to switch it over because it used to be the board decided. And of course the board's going to vote for what they were in. Yeah. Because we have an acting board. Mm-hmm. Or we have board members who act. So of course they're drawn to the shows that they were involved with.
Right.
But so we decided the Canon committee would be more unbiased. So let's make them do it. But that didn't get to them in time when they were voting. So it skipped a year. So we thought, well, we'll just let the membership decide. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it was whoever had the biggest fans at the award ceremony.
Which is, I've been to other award ceremonies where I'm like, wow, okay, so you just got to be popular. Okay. Circling back to my original point that we try to do it as fair as possible, but listen, guys, this is just for fun.
Yeah, it's not your Tony Awards. You're going to be fine.
Please don't put it on your LinkedIn profile that you won a Canon. Please don't introduce yourself as 2-time Canon Award winner so and so.
I don't care if they do that or not, but everybody else knows it's just it's a local community theater award ceremony.
So just take it in the spirit in which it's intended. We have fun every year. There's surprises every single year.
It's amazing because the way we do it every year. I okay, oh well, they're gonna take it. They're gonna take it. They're gonna take it because I've seen all the shows, and I looking back on it, and now that I know who the nominees are, I would vote. Mm-hmm. I would rank them.
Mm-hmm.
But of course every year I'm surprised by at least one of them because I'm like, oh, okay, well that's nice. That
Yeah. It happened last year. It happened the year before that. Every year there's just something off the beaten path where it's not all 100% predictable.
Right.
I've never seen any show. I'm sure there has been, but I've never seen any show run away with everything.
There's been a season or two where it's but it used to be always the musical.
Right. Whatever the biggest, hugest show. Yeah.
But that's not the case. Yeah. Every time, so that's good.
Yeah, and it's well, the last show of the season's going to be the one that wins because that's the one everybody remembers. No, there's been plenty of times because last year the first show of the season won Best Show.
Yeah.
So that's really not the case. And then
which is part of the reason why we do it the way we do it because you forget by the end of the season what that first show was.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, of course I want the last show to win because that's the one that's fresh in my brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But.
Yeah, and that's happened several times. That was that year you won for Sex Please We're 60, and that was the first show of the season. So there's surprises every year. It's always fun.
Comedies tend to fare better.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's that way in a lot of things. So.
It's not the Tonys. We're not.
We used to be worried the musical would take everything, but it really doesn't much anymore. Of course, we haven't had a musical in a while, but. We used to always be worried that the musical would basically just wipe the slate because everybody loves the musical, but it hasn't in the recent years that I've been involved. So,
well, we look forward to seeing you guys on July 9th for our gala. Have a glass of wine, mingle a little bit, and then we get the awards over with.
Yep, have some really spectacular food because Donald is catering again. And I always buy me a bottle of wine, and by the time... Well, the problem is now that I have to actually... lead the meeting.
Yeah.
I can't sit there and get drunk like I used to.
Oh, you can. You definitely can. You definitely can. It's just...
The problem is my jokes are only funny to me when I'm drunk. It's not so funny when I'm talking into a microphone to a room full of people.
Right. Yeah, I run into that problem sometimes, too.
But yeah, it used to be highly entertaining because... I always do the PowerPoint presentation for the meeting and the award ceremony, and we were always off track somewhere, and it was always like a Three Stooges skit when we were doing it, and I was like, ugh. But now that I'm up there at the microphone, I really can't blame anybody but myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess I got to be competent now.
So.
All right.
And I do like the format that we've done with you bringing in the old winners. I think that works really well.
It's more variety. It reminds you of oh yeah, they did win last year, and everybody inevitably, I'm sure every year there's going to be one person that just can't do it because they're on vacation or something like that, and that's the truth with this year. And if they're Randall won last year. Randall Lawrence Hurt, who's double nominated again this year, won last year, and he's going to be presenting as opposed to Best Actor for the category he won last year. He's doing Best Supporting Actor, so we don't run the risk of him accidentally handing the award to himself.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Or Mary Lee last year when she was nominated for Best Supporting, we switched her to Best Actress to present it because she had won the year before. So we try to think about it to where it's it not be awkward and the winner is me. Oh, thank you, and just
rigged.
But there's definitely familiar faces on there and new people. And as I'm reading the list, because that was the first time I saw the nominees when I read them off. I had literally gotten them minutes before. And reading the list, it's a good mix of new people and older people.
It is, and it's always funny because every year I always guess as to what the nominees are, and some of them are obvious. A lot of times the lead actor is obvious who it's going to be.
Yeah.
But every year I'm a little surprised at some of the other options that directors go with. And I always look at it every year. I look at the list and go, that one's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that one's going to be tough. Because it's like, I try and like guess the winner just to see how close I am to what, have my finger on the pulse of the audience members. But every year I'm surprised, but it's one of those things that's like, I look at the category and I'm like, I don't know. It's like some of them all 5, and some of them it's like there's at least 2 or 3 that it could be, it could be a coin flip, and you're like, I don't know what people are going to think.
We are excited. I know it's a good group of shows this year, and it's been a good season here at NLT, and it's just a way of saying thank you to our people that work hard backstage and on stage,
and our membership who come to every show and see things, and it's just a good time. We have really good food. We have a little bit of booze. We get to sit around and talk to people we possibly haven't seen in 9 months, and you get to see each other again, and it's really fun, and it's very laid back and easy to get along with, and
it all takes place at a very beautiful vineyard in Andrew, North Carolina, named Gregory Vineyard. Yeah. So.
And we always talk about it's our own very little version of the Tony Awards. It's really not quite as stuffy as the Tony Awards. It's probably more like the SAG Awards or something where they're sitting around tables.
Like the Golden Globes. Yeah, where you can get drunk. Those are good to watch. Everybody knows the awards are kind of bull, but it's good to watch because everybody's kind of drunk by the end of it.
Right.
Well, we're gonna close out the episode there, folks. I think that's enough content. We haven't had an episode in a while, a month and a half, something like that, and I think that's a good base to go off from into the summer. Undecided on the content we're gonna have during our off time during the summer, but I will return. I have a couple of ideas brewing, but we'll see how it works out. Right. But as usual, we'll have the podcast where if you weren't at the gala, we'll reveal the winners on the podcast, and maybe we'll do something with that. And then we'll also pick back up in August, September for our coverage on our premiere of the 49th season, Willy Wonka.
Yep, and if you want to volunteer and help out, we have a work day on July 8th at 9 o'clock Saturday morning. We're going to be taking the set down from the summer camp. And we also have another work day on the 29th of July. That's also a Saturday. We'll start about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And we're going to try and organize the basement.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So if you're a kid who needs volunteer hours for school, somebody who's going into their senior year,
if you got community service
hours, you're trying to work off the
DUI.
I was trying to say something that wasn't quite so that's not good. But come on out. We lots of hands help make light work, so we appreciate anybody who wants to come and visit and hang out with us.
Indeed.
Usually a lot of arguing and complaining and throwing things at some point in the evening. So
we can only hope.
Yep.
We can only hope. All right, folks, we're going to end it there. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Neuse Little Podcast. That's my producer, Mita Toole.
Yep.
And we'll see you on the next one. All right. Goodbye. Credits for the show. Your host and creator is Matt Gore. That's me. My producer and editor is Mita Toole.
That's me.
Music is by Cody Walker. Please go look up Cody on Cody Walker Music on YouTube, and he's also on Cody Walker Music on Facebook as well. He's local, so and he's got a couple of albums out. Easy listening, John Denver type of guitar voice. That Cody Walker. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.